Okay, so today we are going to make a tree using a grease pencil and a deep paint. Before we get started, I'm going to explain a little bit about the grease pencil basics first. So let's delete the box and then hit E and add blank. So we have a grease pencil object. So grease pencil is the tool that you draw stroke in 3D space, but then you have to define where you're drawing to in 3D space first, right? So there's a few options for it. And if you click this one, there's an origin and the 3D cursor and surface and stroke. I'm going to explain each one from now. But before you do that, make sure you have a canvas visible by clicking this one and check this one if you don't have one. And then we have a canvas in the scene here, right? So it is set to origin at the moment. So this means the canvas is always in the origin. Even if you move the camera, you see the canvas is always facing at you, right? So if you draw, I have a brush using a ink pen rough, and I'm going to use that one. And if you draw like this and move the camera, you see you're drawing onto the canvas, but it is in 3D space because the canvas is moving around. It's not moving around. You're moving the camera around. So you get something like this here. So that's the one option. If you hit S, there's a pop-up menu. You can easily change it. So if you hit this 3D cursor, now Shift and right mouse button, and you can move the canvas around in 3D space, and then you draw like this. So you get this, different position of the stroke, moving the canvas around. So that's the other option. So if you hit S and then if you hit surface, you can paint onto the surface, but I don't have a surface at the moment. So go back to the object mode, and I'm going to bring mesh monkey and the OG to set center because the cursor is moved, but now it is in the center. And then select this one and move to draw mode. And now hit S and surface. You can draw onto the surface here, right? So it's always drawing onto the surface. But there's an option, if you hit S and the offset, you can change the offset here. This means because the other one was a bit tight and it is intersecting. But now it is offsetted a little bit, so it's more on top of the surface. You can make it even bigger, 0.3 or something. So now it's more floating, right? Okay, so that's the other option. And hit S. There's a stroke. There's a stroke option. This one is a little different. If you draw something like this, it's going to snap to the other stroke, right? So if you draw now, if you draw across the other stroke, it's going to snap to it. But there's other option. If you hit first point, it's only snap to the first point when you draw. So you do like this, it doesn't snap to other. So this is really cool option. So these are the options. The end is just snap to at the end. So these are the 4 options you can draw in 3D space. So that's the basic of the grease pencil. So I'm going to just delete these 2. And now we are going to draw the tree, right? And let's bring other grease pencil object, add blank, and hit S. I'm going to set the origin to begin with, and let's change the view from front, and F to make a bigger stroke. So let's draw one trunk, something like this, right? And then change it to stroke to first point, and oops, and now you can draw like this, right? Moving the camera around, so you can extend the branches like this in 3D space to draw, right? And yeah, so this is not too bad. And then grease pencil is really cool that you can edit the stroke after you have drawn, and the way to do it, from draw mode you can change it to sculpt mode like this, and then now it is set to push. You can push the curve, the stroke like this. If you want to edit, you make it a little bit wiggly, look of a tree, you can make like this. I'm gonna hide the overlay to make it more visible. Yeah, so you have like this, and you can change the thickness as well with selecting this one, and you can make it thick at the bottom and maybe thin on top by hitting Control, and yeah, you can make something more interesting than before, a bit more random, right? And you can push more if you want. So we have a basic shape of the trunk and branches. I'm going to make leaves, but I will bring another grease pencil object, hitting Shift A, hit E and add blank. So we have other grease pencil object, but this time hit S. I'm going to use different brush. If you click here and import custom brush, you get more options, and it's from here, import custom brush, and then I'm going to select fill brush. Now you can draw leaves like this. It is black, that's because it's a solid mode, but if you change it to material mode, you see the color, because it's set to green. You can change to other color if you want to, but this is not a big deal because we are converting to mesh anyway, but it's okay. It's kind of cool look to have a different color. Anyway, so I made a very random. You can make it more interesting, but yeah, we have these leaves now. Now we have trunk and leaves, and hit E. I'm going to change it to mesh. For leaves, I will use this one, GP, to fill mesh. So now it's a flat surface mesh. And for the trunk, hit E to line mesh. Right? So now it's shaded like a normal 3D object, right? Because it's a mesh. I'm going to put the ground, or G, to make a center. That's because, cursor is moved, but you can bring cursor to the center with Shift S to cursor toward origin. And now if you make plane, that's generated from the origin. But anyway, so we have a ground here, right? And yeah, let's select everything and hit DPM. So now materials applied to everything, and let's put some color and make it brown and set, and make it green and set, and just leave the ground. So it's a simple colored tree, just the two different color, but let's put the background with the add word. So it's a white background here, right? And now, since DPM is Vertex color based material, we can change the color. You know, you can paint the Vertex, make it more interesting. Maybe some area get dark. Maybe some area gets yellow or whatever. Just make it random. Shift to blur it, so it's more organic feel than before. And same to the leaves. You can have more mesh. Let's have modifier and the codify and triangulation, decimate, or whatever. Yeah, so now more mesh, and you can change the color by paint, right? So yeah, now it's more interesting look of a tree. And yeah, I want to have an outline, so selecting the branch and trunk, and then we have this outline. You can change the size, outline, roughness, and if you click this one, it's going to apply just the outline, so it's more better. And to the leaves, it's a single mesh, so I want to do it just at the rim. So go to material and leaf outline, and you can do this one, but you can do the same thing just at the rim. See, yeah. So we have this tree with a outline, and this is kind of looking good, I think, but I want to make it a little bit more interesting than this one. So I want to populate the branch even more from here. So let's copy these two, Shift D, and move it to the side. And I want to make this one as a one object. And I can just join these two, but then there's a modifier applied using the, I was using this one for outline. So I want to remove this one before joining these two objects. So I'm going to just select this one, and then with this one, it applies visual geometry to mesh. So same to leaves. So modifier is gone. So select these two and then join with this one. So now it's one object. And this one works better when you populate to other place. And let's move it on the side, and let's bring this one OG into the center. I don't need these leaves, so let's just hide. I'm going to populate this one to this tree. It is the same shape. You can make more interesting one by making, same process, but just use this one as a branch. So select this one first, and then if you have a Deep Paint Pro, there's a utility called a tree gen. I called it a tree gen because I was populating the tree, but you can populate anything you want. So if you hit this one, you have this modifier, which is a geometry node based scatter tool, and just select the object with this one and select this one, right? So so this branch is populated to this one here using this scatter tool. And I'm going to explain more detail, more parameter here. There's a density. You can change the density and the scale, min and max. So you can change it small here. And then you can rotate here, but there's random rotation. You can do it here. Oops. Yeah, but also there's a normal. If you make it like this, it's gonna, populate around the normal. You don't want to go too much, just a little bit. And then, adding more randomness and make it more organic. Like, so now it's more interesting, I think. So this is the way to populate the branch. Let's move it on the side. And also you can add vertex group with the weight paint mode. I have a shortcut, but you can change it from weight paint. And then let's bring the, oh, it doesn't really change. Anyway, so you can add vertex group, but I have outline. I use this one for outline color, but you can hit plus and maybe change the name, this branch, and then you can draw here and makes other type of vertex group. But with selecting this one, you can apply density factor from here to branch. But since density is too small, let's make it a little big, and then let's paint more here. I need more density, actually, maybe like 12. It's a bit, maybe a bit too much. And make it small. Yeah, so you can populate more like this. You can change the rotation. It's a bit too heavy. Maybe less. Yeah, so it's more dense look of a tree. You can change the seed. If you don't like the look. Yeah, so this is not too bad, I think. So this is the way to make them more branches, more thicker look of the tree. And yeah, so now it's more interesting. So this is how I make the tree using a grease pencil. and with a deep paint. You can paint vertex color to this one, but you cannot do this populated one. That's because it's instance object. But you can apply mesh. So now it's one mesh. You don't want to go too crazy because it's going to get too heavy. If it's too heavy, you can also decimate. It's a bit, it still, keeps the same shape. But now, since it's one object, you can paint the color like this. It's all one object, so I'm painting everything at the same time. But yeah, so I think this is pretty cool. Maybe too red some area, but anyway, yeah, that's how we make the tree. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, now it's your turn to your own tree using this method. Yeah, thank you for watching.